Welcome to the Ben Buzz. I'm Benny King, and you're tuning into another episode regarding the realm of music. It's been a while since we've done an episode like this. You probably might even have to go back to the episode we did about Jid's brand new album way back when. But we're back now with my two special guests here, Jack and Luke, once again to talk about top 10 discographies, once again in the genre of hip-hop.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's been a minute. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. You're welcome, Luke. So which of you would like to start as we get into our top 10s here and all the way up until our honorable mentions as well?
Yeah, so factors that would go into this for me, like how consistent is it? How great is their debut? How great was their last album that they put out? All factors like how great the lyricism is, how great just able to curate a great album experience throughout their whole discography. So yeah, I'm ready to kick it off right now. I guess we'll do honorable mentions after we get through and reveal our number one picks. So I'll just, yeah, it's great to be on the show again. But I'll say my number 10. I kind of went back and forth between a couple artists. I was going to put some artists here, but I'm going to change mine to Pusha T at number 10.
Okay.
This is just tough, these later spots down the list. But Pusha T had an amazing solo discography after Clips kind of went away with releasing albums after Lord Willin', their debut, and Hell Hath No Fury. And then other albums, their last one was Till the Casket Drops. I know you guys like that one too. Not as regarded as the other two, but yeah. And then Pusha T had a great solo discog too. I mean, like My Name Is My Name. That one's just okay for me. Not as good as like Daytona or Darkest Day, I think it's called. And then It's Almost Dry was his last solo album. And then you bring it back to their last one last year. So with Malice back with Clips. And I think when you look at Hell Hath No Fury and their brand new album, I mean, like those are like you could argue top 25 albums of all time. Let God sort them out. So yeah, I think when you have that solid of a discog, it's not a very long or storied one. I mean, it is, but it's not longer than some other ones. Like you could say The Roots is a lot longer, maybe MF Doom or Kanye or something like that. But it's short, it's concise, and it's very consistent, very layered. And the lyric ability of both Malice and Push when they collab on their Clips albums is like nothing I've ever seen. One of the best duos in hip hop, and to come back with an album years, almost 2 decades, that's very impressive. That goes into it too. When you're able to knock it out of the park, like some other groups I'll get to down the list, to be able to put out an album and really like send it like that, put out a swan song like that is just puts it into another gear for me. So yeah, Pusha T will be my number 10 pick.
Right. I think that's a solid pick. And some things you laid out in the intro where you were talking about some things like, well, their recent success, what was the last album they dropped, and then apply that to their consistency. Pusha T certainly fit for that. As you said, that till, Let God Sort Them Out is obviously very highly regarded. And so as far as recent success, he's clearly there when you involve groups. And the fact that you have a solo career and Clips to go into, where some of these guys will be looking at, well, look at their work with this group and then look at their solo career. And that's how some of these guys really apply to this list. So I think that's definitely a pretty solid pick. What are your thoughts on that, Luke?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, he's very much stayed consistent, like with Clips and even his solo discog. Like, there's some really good albums in there, like Daytona and other albums. It's a good pick, and like God Sort Them Out shows that he can still make really great projects 2 decades into his career. You know, with like God Sort Them Out being definitely the best album of the decade in my opinion so far. So yeah, I think it's a
Yeah.
good pick.
Also, yeah, another thing I want to add is like when you have an album like that could be considered your best that late into your career is definitely another factor. Because it's one thing to just
Yeah.
put out a great album or even a good album or just a passable one, but to put out one that's that good, like I
Mhm.
guess we were thinking about on the last video doing one about the best albums of the 2020s decade so far. I'm not sure. We'll get that out soon. Maybe sooner rather than later. I don't know. But that's definitely in contention. Like other artists like Forever Story or sometimes I might be introvert. Those are definitely all battling for that spot. But
Right.
for an album to come out like in the middle of the decade, like we're already halfway through. It's kind of crazy that 2020's decade is going this fast, but that's definitely in contention. But yeah, the other thing is like it's almost dry. I think that album does not get enough praise at all. It took about like 6 years for that album to drop because Daytona came out in 2018, and then that came out like a while. It's half produced by Pharrell, half produced by Kanye, and just has some banger tracks. Like, I mean, the one with Jay-Z is amazing. So if anyone has, I mean, it's just banger. It's just great lyricism again, and yeah, I just think that one doesn't get talked about enough. So yeah, what would be your number 9 pick, Luke, or number 10?
So number 10, he barely squeezed onto the list, but I decided to put Danny Brown. And I know that's probably really hot for some people, but like he's been doing this for 2 decades, and especially with his most recent album Stardust, like he just doesn't miss. And Atrocity Exhibition is an album that I think is a 10. Like it's so every project that Danny Brown does, like he fully does something like wacky and weird, especially with Stardust. Like there's so much different stuff going on here, like different elements of like pop or rock and stuff like that. Like it's crazy the different stuff that he does. Or we have like really fun albums like Scaring the, but then we'll have like deep projects like Quaranta where it's like he's talking about issues with his drug abuse in the past. So like I put him at number 10 just because like he hasn't had a project that's really like a miss so far. Like Atrocity Exhibition is a 10, and in my opinion has a lot of bangers. That album's about an 8. Quaranta is one of the weaker projects on his, but like it's supposed to be because like he's talking about issues and stuff. It's not supposed to really be like a fun album. And then we had Scaring the 2 years or 3 years ago, and like that album was absolutely magnificent. The stuff that JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown did with that album was great. So I put Danny Brown at 10 because of how crazy his discography is, like all the different elements in it. So that'd be my number 10 pick.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I mean, didn't make my. That's a great pick. When you go back to
Yeah.
like when he started with his mixtape, The Hybrid, that was his first kind of project, and then he broke out with Triple X, and then you mentioned Atrocity Exhibition, and then he got Old in there, and then you know what I'm saying, and the one with JPEG Mafia you mentioned, and then Quaranta, and then Stardust. Like he really has a different sound on every single project. You're never gonna hear the same thing twice. He's never afraid to experiment. And that's what I
Right.
really
Yeah.
respect about Danny Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he's just a very consistent artist. Mhm.
Yeah. And Ben, what was your number 10 pick?
Right. Yeah. My number 10 pick, it's Ghostface Killah. And this is going along with the theme that we've been saying, where it's just like not only do they have individual work, but when they're with a group as well, like Luke, you're saying, like not only does Danny Brown have some solid solo stuff, but then when he's with, JPEG Mafia or Jack, like you were saying with Pusha T, with Clips, where that's easily the same thing with Ghostface, his work on 36 Chambers, which is highly regarded, and most people would say it's a top 10 album of all time. I know that's subjective, but the fact that it's so consistently in the top 10 in so many lists, I think it's kind of beyond that as well. And then you look at his solo career, and you could point to so many different albums that he's made, like Fish Scale or Supreme Clientele. And there's bangers everywhere you go. And the consistency is there wherever his trails are. And that's why I think he deserves a spot on this list. He might actually be a little too low now that I'm looking at it again, but at the end of the day, it's a top 10 list. They're all going to feel too low. So that's where he ends up residing for me on my list here.
Yeah, for sure. Great pick.
Yeah.
I think for me and Luke, he's going to end up a lot higher for us. So,
right.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, he's only, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have more to add then when we get super late discography. He's one Wu-Tang member who just some of these members had like one or two classics, but he's the one who just kept going with classic after classic and just could not miss. And just has a rapping style that just no one else is able to replicate. And amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you want to get to number 9?
Yep.
Sounds great.
Okay. So for my number 9, I went with Jay-Z. So I think, yeah.
That's where he landed for me as well. If we want to knock those two out at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Maybe you could say he's too low, but you could kind of compare him with Nas. They have a lot of high moments, but they also have some low moments in there. Like that R. Kelly collab album's not great. There's a couple other ones. But he's another rapper. I give props to artists that are able to finish their career out and put out an amazing album. I think 444 put out an amazing album as your final album. I don't think we'll get another album from JC, but so yeah. But that's just still impressive to put out an album that good as your kind of swan song. So, but there's high moments everywhere. I mean, multiple classics like Blueprint, Reasonable Doubt, Black Album. You got Blueprint 2 and 3 that are pretty decent. Then you got incredible discog. And the influence is insane. The impact is there. Absolutely. And yeah.
Right. I mean, I think it goes without saying with some of these guys, type of consistency that there is, where you have guys like throughout the 90s and then like the 2010s and like just continuously putting out great albums. And you can go all the way back to albums like The Blueprint, where Jay-Z was like still doing really well, and then The Blueprint 2 and then The Blueprint 3. It's one of my favorites, mainly because a lot of those songs ended up being featured in 213, which is probably one of the better soundtracks in gaming history. And I think there's a lot some of those solid consistency. And then, as you said, we probably won't get another one from Jay-Z. Honestly, if we got one, it would probably only hurt him on this list. So I do think that's a good pick, as that's where I put him as well. Yes, on Adlib?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like the man did not miss throughout the 90s and then at least like the early 2000s. He just couldn't miss. Like the Black Album and then the Blueprint. And then Blueprint 3 has so many bangers on it that really like even non-rap fans will recognize. Like he truly shaped rap for like especially like the 90s and the 2000s. So I agree with that pick. He's even higher up on my list.
Okay. Yeah. Who did you have the number 9 spot?
So number 9, I put Ghostface for the same reasons that Ben kind of put him at 10.
Right.
His discography, like Supreme Clientele and Iron Man, like those are two albums that are just absolutely just crazy. Like to have those both in your discography, like is insane. And we just got Supreme Clientele 2, which isn't as good as Supreme Clientele 1, but there are still some bangers on here, you know, like Curtis May or Fourth Disciple. Those songs are really, really good.
Yeah.
And
Right. What would you say would be your favorite Ghostface album?
It would definitely be Supreme Clientele. Like I like Iron Man a lot, but like Supreme Clientele is definitely the most consistent album. Definitely my favorite Ghostface songs appear on this one album, like One or Malcolm or Apollo Kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
That one's definitely my favorite.
Just one more thought. What do you think would be your favorite Ghostface verse? Do you think it's the one he did on the Mystery of Chess Boxing, Luke?
I think it'd probably be that one. Like the way he comes in. Like I'll always say this, like my favorite performance on 36 Chambers was Ghostface. Because like every song that
He just brings the
every
energy.
song that he comes on, he just tries to murder the mic. He just comes in with so much energy, and it's so fun to listen to him on 36 Chambers. It's great. So yeah.
Right, absolutely. And as we're getting down this list, it would be your number 8.
Yeah, one more thought there. I would say my favorite verse on the Wu-Tang albums would be Inspector Deck on Protect Your Neck. I think just to add that real quick, because I think he's one of the more underrated Wu-Tang members, and it's a shame we really didn't get a classic album from him because of like what everything happened with the flood and whatever. So yeah, but my number 8, is that what we're on?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I put De La Soul at number 8. I think just a extremely layered, because they started out, their first album was in '89.
It was a while ago. Was that the one with 3 is the magic number? Is that what you're mentioning here?
Yep, 3 Feet High and Rising was in '89. And just immediately out the gate, like bringing something fresh and something new, because that's when like you know, like F the Police was out with NWA, and then you had groups like Public Enemy out right then, like LL Cool J, stuff like that, Slick Rick maybe. So to bring this like fresh new style, which is like the whimsical, like just super lyrical, like sunny sunshines, and that's why they kind of diverted that away from that on their second album, De La Soul is Dead, where they kind of went like a darker, realistic direction. And that album might just as well be as good as the first. If they have just such a layered discography, and then you have like Balloon Mind State, where they brought like a live jazz band produced for them. Like before, they had jazz samples where they would just sample from them and other soul bits, but to bring a live jazz band, I think it adds so much to the instrumentation. And yeah, like Six is High is also a solid one. Grind Date has some solid features on it. And the AOI series, Artificial Intelligence, those are solid too, that don't get talked about as much. And their recent one really put them over the edge because they tried to like send out their last album, The Anonymous Nobody. It wasn't as great of an album. That's why they're kind of lower on this list, because not every album was a hit. But their recent album, Cabin in the Sky, is like, it's one of my favorite albums last year, and is just what a way to send out, because Trugoy, Dave, one of the members, passed away a couple of years ago, and that was really like, to get Giancarlo Esposito to narrate your album is just such a flex. I think that's the guy who plays Gus from Breaking Bad. So it's just so cool to get all these features on it, like Black Thought and Q-Tip, and just like Common, Slick Rick as well. Like it's Killer Mike, like insane production, insane everything. Check out Cabin in the Sky if you haven't. It's just such a great tribute and a great like just a great way to send off their discography, and that really put them over the edge. Because if you would have asked me a couple of years ago, I might not have put that in there, but that really like when you're able to end out on such a high like that, like Jay-Z, like Tribe will get to, like maybe you could say Supreme Clientele 2 is a good way to end. And I think they really did that with Cabin in the Sky. So I'd put De La Soul at number 8.
Yeah, and I think a big reason why that's such a good pick is you can attribute a lot of the music that progressed after it and then just beyond. And even nowadays, you can feel the remnants of the impact that they had. And I think that's why it's a great pick, because it's like the impact that they had on the culture. You think that's a big reason why Black Thought and Q-Tip got on it, just because of the respect that they have for those guys?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that was even before Tribe Called Quest even happened. And Q-Tip was on that 3 Feet High and Rising project before Tribe Called Quest even was created. And I think that sound kind of influenced them to make, because you do kind of like hear that in certain bars or in certain production styles. So yeah.
All right. Do you have some thoughts on that, Luke?
Not really. No.
Mhm.
I
You
think
probably neither.
I think it's a really good pick. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good pick.
What did you guys have number 8?
Yeah, Luke.
So number 8, I had Nas, just because
Okay.
like his '90s run is still like timeless to this day. Like we have
Right.
Illmatic, which that's my
Mhm.
number 2 album of all time. A lot of people put that number 1. It Was Written is one of the best sophomore albums ever. And I Am and Nostradamus, those albums are still good. And then we get pulled into the 2000 where we have Stillmatic. Like that album is just impressive. And then we also got Lost Tapes. And then I know after like Lost Tapes, like photography got kind of bloated, but then this past decade, we got the whole King's Disease trilogy, which is like it's a magnificent trilogy. King's Disease 1 definitely the weakest, but 2 and 3 are absolutely incredible projects. And we just got Light Years this year or last year, sorry. And that album, like while it doesn't live up to like the King's Disease trilogy or even some Magic albums, like there were still some amazing songs on here, especially New York State of Mind Part 3. Like the man for 3 decades has been able to put out some really good albums. Sorry, 4 decades. For the past 4 decades, the man has put out some incredible projects. So I put him at my number 8.
Yeah, I respect it for sure. Like he had some low spots, but the high moments really stand above the rest, and that's why like most people call Illmatic the best album of all time for good reason. And to
Right.
have that, I think that really
Yeah.
puts you over the edge for sure. And yeah, just getting
Right.
to like his
Right.
newest one, like they're really like Mass Appeal, the label that Nas and De La Soul and Big L, and also there were some other ones, Mob Deep, I think as well. They put out all these records out just last year to like, I think also Ghostface Killah as well, but they put out all these records to like pay homage to like old classic hip hop, like with the Nas album, like you had New York State of Mind Part 3. That was a great song. Like you had Ghostface Killah, Rap Kingpin, that like sampled Mighty Healthy off of Supreme Clientele. That was a great moment. And you had other posthumous albums that like kind of paid homage and kind of a love letter to the past. And yeah, I just love that they're doing that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Any thoughts on that, Ben?
No, I think you guys covered it.
Yeah.
Who did you have at number 8?
Right. Going to my number 8. And this is another one where you might also say it's too low, but I mean, I think that's just how we're going to feel about this whole list because it's hard to really choose. But it is Outkast that I have on here. And their discography is really great, honestly. And, some people, maybe a couple of you maybe said Andre 3000 just because, maybe some like solo projects as well. But honestly, what they've done as a group is so impressive where you have like Stan Konya and then like there's so many classic hits. Like you'll hear like to this day, people say like shake it like a Polaroid picture. That is Outkast. And you can feel their remnants into the culture all across the board. And then Luke, I know you love songs like Bombs Over Baghdad where it brings that energy, but they also have incredible lyricism. So I think it's without a doubt deserving of a spot on this list. It's all about where you put it.
Right, yeah. I agree. It's much higher on my list.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good pick, Ben. It's good.
Yeah,
Any thoughts on that, Jack?
good pick. It's also higher in mine too, but yeah, yeah. No, I agree with everything you said. Like the influencer. I mean, Andre really he doesn't have any solo rap projects. He has some wind instrument ones where he's doing
Right.
his flute, but you can't
Mhm.
count that to his
Right.
discography. I don't think.
Right.
That's
I
just,
know it's just because
Yeah.
people only like when they talk about Outkast, they mainly only say Andre 3000. Like a lot of people aren't like talking about Big Boy, which is sad. He
no,
deserves more
I
respect.
agree. I agree. Big Boy deserves some more
Yeah.
height, but Andre is like the
Yeah,
more
I
popular
mean, he's
one
Big Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure. Like
Right. Exactly.
he covers like Speakerbox and Love Below, probably their best project, and the Love Below is way more popular than Speakerbox. So it kind of makes sense because that was kind of
Yeah.
Andre's half there, and that was kind of a solo project. You can count that as, because I know Big Boy counts Speaker Box as his first solo project. So I guess you could count that, but that's why Andre's like, it's like, Hey Ya was on there, Roses was on there, Happy Valentine's Day, like all
Right.
those like poppier songs were on there. So it makes sense that Andre would be popular. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I'm getting to my number 7.
All right. Yep.
Sounds
Take
great.
it away.
All right. This is where I
Mhm.
put Kanye West. I know
Okay.
it could be considered low, and people are gonna kind of go crazy for
Yeah.
this because I mean, before his recent run, he was kind of considered the best by maybe normie hip hop fans. I will say, because he's like one of the most popular artists ever, and he's like the hip hop, you could kind of say, because like such popular hits,
Right.
and like Dark Fantasy, that's like what most people talk about along with Graduation. Like those are kind of like, that's what kind of gets people into
Right.
hip
Yeah.
hop for sure.
Yeah. You didn't have to call it a drug, but yeah.
It's just, that's just an expression. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But
What you're
yeah,
trying to say.
there's nothing really to say here because you guys are going to cover it all. But again, amazing discography,
Right.
and he has such impact. Like I know people like overrate 808s and Heartbreak and Yeezus just because I know those albums had great impact on artists like Tyler and Travis and stuff like that, and like Kid Cudi for it's, and other artists maybe like. Yeah, I mean he's influenced a lot of people. I mean that definitely adds to it, I think. But I would just say a lot of his projects like hold him behind as much as they kind of push him forward. Like 808s and Heartbreak, maybe that's pretty solid. But like when you're going for that many ideas, it's hard to put together a great project. Like Yeezus, I do not think is a great project at all. That gets overhyped way too much, and it is a way more divisive album. I agree. Like there's a lot of people that say that album's trash too, but I think it's more in the middle. There is some great ideas on there, but again, songwriting sucks. I will say that again. The songwriting on Yeezus is awful. Like it definitely needs some more plays, and the production is great. I will agree, but and just considering, like I think he has maybe as many classes groups like Outkast and Tribe. Maybe a lot of people will disagree with that. Like maybe you could say the College series and then Life of Pablo, but I would definitely put him higher if like you could say like after Donda, he stopped there. That's what most people say. But
Right.
he didn't. He put out Vultures, and we are counting collab albums because we're counting clips and we're counting Kids See Ghosts. If you're gonna count that, then we're gonna count those. So if he comes back for another great, it's hard to come back from releasing a project that bad. So, yeah,
Right.
but again, I think he has great works in
I
the
have
past. Yeah,
Kanye much higher on the list. I get what you're saying, but
yeah,
there's a lot of albums that are really great by him.
no, yeah,
I'll talk about when we get to my
yeah.
pick.
No, I knew we were going to disagree on that, but yeah, I mean, he's got great records and he's
Right.
classic records, but
Yeah.
I can't put him above
It's
anyone
just
else that I
there's
have above
yeah.
him right now. I just can't do it.
Right. That's fair. But do you think Bully kind of got you back on his side, or what do you think?
Is
Bully
that
hasn't
out?
dropped yet.
Okay, it's not
Fully.
out.
It's not. It's not out
I
till
honestly, I
March.
wouldn't know. I wouldn't expect you to listen to it, regardless.
No, I wasn't going to.
No, when Bully drops, I doubt Jack's gonna listen to it unless it's really good.
Yeah, I've kind of
Yeah.
I haven't been a Kanye guy since it's probably Donda came out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a lot. Hey, I will say Donda gets a lot more hate than it deserves. That like
Mhm.
again, if he stopped at
Yep.
Donda, he'd be probably top 5.
Right.
But you have to take the misses with the hits,
Yeah.
Right.
And when you have a project as bad as
Yeah.
Vultures and Vultures 2, where he's literally using AI
Mhm.
because he's too lazy, just I
Right.
can't defend that. So yeah. What do you guys have
Right. He
for
really
number?
should have stopped. What do you got for 7, Luke?
Yeah.
So for number 7, I have Jay-Z.
Okay.
I have him a lot higher than you guys do, or what? Not much higher, but like Jay-Z, like he basically like kind of ran hip hop, and I know like his discography kind of got bloated with albums like Kingdom Come or some others, but like Jack was saying, like to
Mhm.
end on a high note, like 444 is
Mhm.
really impressive, and a lot of artists don't get to do that, you know. And
Right.
like while it is a really bloated, like some of my favorite Jay-Z songs, like "N Words in Paris" or "Liftoff" or "Otis," all those songs are really, really good. And Blueprint 3 also voted bloated projects, but like we have Empire State of Mind and Run This Town, some of the first Jay-Z songs I ever heard, you know? And
Yeah.
like he ran the rap game for 3 decades, like dropping classics in pretty much every decade that he dropped, you know?
Well, I don't know
So
if he ran
he
it,
would be,
but
you know what I mean. And also his influence, like without Jay-Z, there wouldn't be a Kanye West, you know?
Right. Yeah, I
right.
agree.
And probably lots of other rappers, you know?
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Right. You think Jay-Z is. What about his out of the studio stuff? Do you factor that in at all, Luke?
No. Just gonna leave that out.
We yeah,
I was thinking about like
we
the
don't have any
Patrick Beverly
facts.
thing.
We don't have any facts on all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not yet.
Yeah. Who do you have at 7 then?
Right. My number 7. Yeah, this is where I put Mos Def. I wanted to put him higher, but I mean, when you think about it, like Black on Both Sides is like one of the greatest albums of all time in my eyes. And then when we're looking at collab albums, the thing that he's done with Talib Kweli with Black Star is great, and then he's had some unreleased stuff. He's just been across the board, and I think it's another thing of longevity and just everything he's done. I mean, he even played Chuck Berry in a movie. He's been all over, so you got to put Mos Def on this list, I feel like.
Yeah, I thought about it. He'd probably be in my honorable mentions, but the thing with Mos Def is like he just doesn't have a lot in his discography. Like he stopped. Or Ecstatic
He doesn't need to.
was his most recent one. I know he kind of hit it out of the park. When you have an album that good, I get it, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Just the I need more volume to put someone on my list like that. I respect the pick though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts, Luke?
I completely agree. To some point, like Black on Both Sides is just an all time classic, and
Oh
the
yeah.
Black Star
Mm-hmm.
album, like they're both just so good. And let's not even talk about let's talk about like his features, like that he has, like his features on Two Words or Good Night. Like both of those features
Right.
hit so hard. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that. Yeah, that's not bad.
Right. Yeah, I think Jack's being silly about this. All right, Jack, what's your number 6 here?
All I'm saying is
What's your
you just need more in your discog to really
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Moving
Number
on.
6, I put Ghostface Killah. This is where I decided to put him.
Okay,
Ooh.
I knew he was going to land higher for you. Honestly, I'm surprised he wasn't top 5 for you.
Yeah, I thought about it, but it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
When you get down top 5 level, it's just couldn't do it. The top
Mm-hmm.
5 is just it's really hard to get in there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but Ghostface, like again, I'll say it like when Wu-Tang members had like one classic, he has like 4 or 5. He just could not stop.
Right.
And I think it's not just Iron Man and Supreme Clientele. You also have Fish Scale in there. What he did on Only Built for Cuban Links. That's basically a collab album with Raekwon. He's basically in every song.
Mm-hmm.
And what he did on the Wu Tang projects. I mean, there's only a couple of those that are amazing, but And then the most recent one wasn't at his best, but then you have projects like 12 Reasons to Die with Adrian Young. And like that was, if you haven't checked that out, it's just an amazing cinematic album. And just classics in every decade, pretty much. And he just could not stop, and just so much volume. He's just a one of a kind lyricist, and just the energy that he brings to every single track, and just the vivid, descriptive imagery that he brings is just second to none to anyone. I just think just a very unique artist. So yeah, that's why I decided to put him number 6.
Yeah,
It's not a bad placement.
yeah, that's not a bad pick. I can respect that.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he was one of those ones, as I was explaining, I'm like, yeah, I probably could have put him higher pretty easily, but it's tough to do a list when everyone on this list is really great. But for my number 6, we're progressing. This is where Pusha T landed for me.
Okay.
And honestly, a lot of the stuff that he's done with the clips, I had seen something. Do they call it the clips? Like, is that how you're supposed to say it? Because it's like Eclipse.
I
wonder if that's how you're supposed to say it.
Some people say that. I just say clips though. I don't put the. I think it's dumb.
The clip? No, it's not the. It's the Jack.
No, it's just clips. I think.
The clip. Okay, but honestly, I mean, his solo stuff is he's got some really great stuff, and then the fact that he was with Clips like back in the day with his brother, and then to come back after all that time passed, like nothing changed, without missing a beat, and make maybe one of his better albums of all time. And I mean, it's just when people are saying, yeah, that's a 10 out of 10, that's how you know that that person is truly talented. And it's not just like, oh, he got carried by Malice, which is, I know Malice isn't as popular, which he probably should be more popular, but like when you listen to those songs like Ace Trumpets, when both of them have their verses, right? But it's just like one rhyme scheme the whole time, and the fact that they can construct it that way for so long, I think that's why the lyricism is really so great when it comes to a guy like this, and that's why I think he has to land on this list. It's just another reason of like, okay, like you can put him on the list. Obviously, it's just about where he lands. Any thoughts on that, Luke?
Yeah, I can agree with Pusha T at or Clips. You said put Clips, right?
No, Pusha T.
Well, I'm saying
Yeah.
Oh, you said Pusha T. Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, we've seen that 20 years into his career, like he's still making absolutely banger projects. Which obviously, like God Sort Him Out being one of his best albums.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good pick. Did you say your number 6 pick, Ben? Luke? Luke?
I did not yet.
Okay.
So at number 6, I put MF Doom.
Okay.
This man has, like, he barely didn't get in my top 5, but like his discography is just, it's so good. Like what other artists could make an entire album about food and it be that good? You know what I'm saying? But like also
no,
like,
I get.
we also have like Mad Villainy, or like Mad Villainy is one of the best rap albums ever.
Yeah, 100%.
And then even towards like the end of his career, Born Like This is still a banger project with some really great songs. And one of my favorite songs, Angels, Ghostface attribution to that one was pretty good as well. But like he's got such a catalog, and like he stays consistent. So that's where I put MF Doom.
Yeah, great pick.
Okay.
He's gonna be higher in my list for sure.
Same as mine.
But yeah, great placement.
Thank you.
Right. What was your number 5, Jack?
Yeah. My number 5. This is where I decided to put the Roots.
Okay.
I think is so consistent. Like, if they never release another album, I'll be okay with that. Because they kind of announced one, but they're still in the Jimmy Fallon show. But yeah, like they don't need to drop anything else. That run they just went on is it's just fantastic. Like it's second to none pretty much. Just the amount of quality albums. Because they have like over 10 just nonstop this amount of quality music that they put out in the 90s and the 2000s and the 2010s. Like, they just could not stop. Like, all beginning with Organics, their debut mixtape, and then you had Do You Want More, Philadelphia Half-Life, Things Fall Apart, which I think is probably their best. And probably, I mean, you could say top 20 album of all time. And then they just keep reaching new levels of just one-upping themselves and trying new sounds and just experimenting, just not stopping and getting better on each and every project. Like, they tried an album called Phrenology and you have great music there, but then they perfect it on Game Theory. And then you have albums later like that are more grimy and edgy, like Rising Down. And then you have like softer music like How I Got Over and Undone. Like, they just never stop putting out quality music. And if you're a hip hop fan, I mean, they got to be on this list somewhere. I think just the amount of quality, and then if you haven't got into them, like, you got it because they just the amount of Clark from Black Thought too, the amount of quality production from Questlove. Like, he needs to be regarded as one of the best producers ever. I think, like, up there with like Kanye, Pharrell, maybe Madlib, Jay Dilla. Like, producing quality albums. Like, production on there is surprisingly very good on each and every project. Like, and he's a DJ. He goes to every spot. Pretty cool, but yeah, absolutely. That being my number 5 spot.
Right. I think that's a solid pick, and they would have been on my list, except I haven't listened to them enough to warrant me putting them on here. If I put them on here, it would be simply because you guys were, and I don't think that's the right way to go about this type of list. It's because, it's your personal listening experiences, and until I've really had that level of listening from them, they'll probably end up somewhere on this list with how much you guys regard them. So it's my bad I'm not getting on them quite yet. As you said, if you're a hip hop fan or if like you want to get into it, they're definitely the type of group that you want to listen to it. From what I've heard, I do agree, but until I've really delved into it, I can't put it on here other than just because you guys are. So they probably will end up here once I get more into them. Do you have some thoughts on that as well, Luke?
Yeah, that's a good pick. They're much higher on my list. I just got done with my discography dive of them, and like what Jack was saying, they just couldn't miss. Like throughout the '90s and 2000s, like they just couldn't stop. Like their first 3 albums, I regard as like one of the best 3 albums ever. Do You Want More, Live Half Life, and Things Fall Apart. All those albums are just bangers. And then we got Phrenology. And while Tipping Point isn't the best, like there are some really great tracks on this one as well. And like they just kept going. And Undone was a really great album as well. Like they just didn't miss with their albums. So yeah, that's a good pick, Jack.
Yeah. Hmm. What did you have it?
All right.
What did you guys have number 5?
Yeah. What you got, Luke?
So at number 5, that's where I put Kanye.
Okay.
He's there for
Much
me as
higher
well.
than Jack.
Okay,
Yeah.
you both have Kanye number 5. Okay.
So like throughout the 2000s and the 2010s, like especially like the 2000s, like his first 4 albums, especially like the College Trilogy. The College Trilogy, one of the best trilogies in rap. Like it's just so good and groundbreaking. And then we got Graduation, which kind of changed hip hop a little for like bring it in like a kind of like a happy sense where like everything at this time was kind of more gangster, you know. And then we got 808s and Heartbreak, which has really shaped this generation's of music. Where we've got people like Playboi Carti or Travis Scott, XXX using the auto tune. And then we got and then there's so many artists that he's inspired, like Chance the Rapper. He brought Kid Cudi up. Just artists like that. Like he's really he really put artists of today's generation on the map, and their sound.
Right.
So that is where I put him. Like his latest albums, while they aren't that good, like all the way up to Donda like are still like really great albums. And the Vultures era, like it sucks, and Donda 2 also wasn't good, but like up until Donda, like the man just wasn't missing, except maybe with albums like 808s and Heartbreak and Jesus. But yet again, with how impactful those albums are, I don't think it really matters if they're like not that good or mid. Like they're still really, really impactful.
Right.
So that's where I put Kanye at number 5.
Right. And I had him there as well. And I think it's just the concept of having that much quantity and still having the same level of quality where I feel like he really had both there. And I understand that he's kind of fallen off the wagon and he's kind of started to come around with like apologize for some of the things he did. And hopefully he ends up getting on the right track mentally. So, hopefully that ends up getting better. But honestly, when you look into from a music standpoint, obviously it did get worse as he started kind of falling off the rails. But you look at his earlier stuff and the concept of having college dropout and then immediately after that you go late registration and then graduation, like the concept of having those back to back. And then I know this is like a personal opinion, but like the thought of graduation being the worst one in a 3 album run is unheard of. And I think that's why this run that he had was so impressive, because you can just keep naming like album after album after album, which is why it's hard to really tear apart the legacy after a couple of bad albums, despite them being really bad albums. Honestly, it's just like the type of stuff where you'd prefer like, oh, I'd prefer if he just never released like anything, because it's kind of just tarnishing his legacy at that point. Kind of like with guys like Eminem. I know he's had like stuff before Revival with like Encore and stuff, but once you drop that one, it's just like, why would you do that? Because you just kind of mess up the legacy you were building, especially being on these types of lists. So I think that's definitely warranted, and I think you have to knock Kanye down some notches, which is why he's not number one, he's not like in the top 3. He does crack the top 5 for me as well, but it's just because the level of output that he had on the run that he did was at such a great quality that it's hard to not give him that same proper respect, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree to an extent. I just think some of his projects, maybe in the Pablo era and like Jesus is King is also another great album that kind of brings it down. And that was kind of considered his worst before the Vultures era and everything happened. Like, yeah, I just think like
Right.
I know this is not a I mean, it's a very popular take, like is Fantano, but Dark Fantasy is a little bit overrated, I think, and doesn't because that's kind of considered his best whenever you talk to a Kanye fan. For me, I
Right.
would say Dropout, but I
Right.
just think there is consistency there. That's why I put him number 7. But like, I just couldn't put him above the Roots or Ghostface Killah and the other 4 that are on my list. But I do think he deserves a placement on this list for sure. From there.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Jack. So we get further into this. What would be your number 4 here?
Yeah, my number 4. That's where I decided to put Outkast. I kind of messed around with some placements here, just thinking about where stuff should go, and I just can't put him above my top 3 artists. I just can't do it because while I think they do have top 5, I think you kind of have to put them top 5 if you have listened to all their music, because that like their debut is great, playlistic. AT Aliens, it could be argued as their best. And then you have Aquemini, obviously could be as their best. Sanconio, I would probably argue as their best as well. And then Speakerbox of Love Below. I mean, who else could put out a double album that long and still be that consistent? And obviously they won a Grammy for it. Just any other artist that could put out like an album that's almost 3 hours long would fail miserably, but they somehow kind of pulled it off in a way. It's not my favorite double album of all time in hip hop. I'd probably give that to like Biggie or Tupac, but yeah, just insane that they're able to even like come close to pulling a concept like that off. And that was kind of both their like debut albums for solo careers, you could argue. It kind of brings it down for me, and nothing bringing down on this Outkast discography. I think it's just it's amazing. you can't really say a lot of things to bring it down. That's how good it is. And you obviously could argue for it to be number one, but I just couldn't put it over my top three. That's kind of the only reason why it's at number 4 for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have Outkast a lot higher, but yeah,
Okay.
that's a good pick. Like
Yeah.
they were like the
Right.
first rap artist to like kind of bring like a positive attitude to rap, you know?
Well,
Whereas like
you could say De
I
La
was saying
Soul
with
did.
you could say that, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
But
Luke's
like
meaning
at
like the
the
level of popularity that it did, because like Hey Ya is
yeah.
still everywhere,
Yeah.
Right.
so you can still feel its impact. So I see where you're coming from, Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
And yeah,
right, what's your
there
number 4?
okay, number 4. This is where y'all might start kind of get heated with me or disagree with me, but that's where I put Kendrick, which might be a little low, but like
Okay. Okay.
I I couldn't put him over my top 3. The things that
Okay,
this
that's
man
not
has
bad.
done, like especially in the 2010s, like Section 80
Right.
is a very good debut album, and then he dropped Good Kid, Mad City, and like Good Kid, Mad City is a wonderful project, and I bet everyone was wondering like, there's no way he's going to top that, and then he did with T-Pab. Like I don't think there's not a lot of art, and then top it with their next album. And then like Kendrick is like probably only a few artists that could literally have an album full of extras and it still be a really amazing project. And
Yeah.
then we have
Right.
Damn, which is just wonderful, and like he just went on a
Mm-hmm.
run and he's still so consistent.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's where I would
Absolutely.
You had
put.
said he debuted with. You said he debuted with Section 80, but what were your thoughts on Overly Dedicated? Does that help him in this list at all, or what were your thoughts?
I have not listened to Overly Dedicated just because like that's kind of a mixtape,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. Well, you can get it on Apple Music, so
Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying.
yep. Was just letting you know, just informing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what were you gonna say, Jack?
Yeah. Yeah. Great pick. He's going to be higher for me and probably higher for Ben as well. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just what you were saying, like it's tough to put out what I would agree that Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly are both top 10 albums of all time. That's how good both of those are. But I mean, it's just insane that he has both of those albums that he's able to say are that good all time albums. But I mean, like he hasn't
Right.
had a miss yet. To say, I would probably say Damn is his worst album, and like that's still a good album. That's not bad in quality at all. Like you still have like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, probably one of the best double albums in hip hop ever. And then you have his recent one,
Mm-hmm.
GNX, still a banger. Like
Right.
he just doesn't miss, and every single one of them brings a different sound, different vibe, and the lyricism is always going to be on point. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What about you? What was your
Yeah, and
top five?
then my number 4, I put MF Doom at number 4,
Okay.
and it's just about the level of output that he's had, and obviously, rest in peace. It's unfortunate that that was kind of mishandled with COVID, but
Yeah.
his production is obviously incredible, and the amount of work that he was able to get done while he was still here, because I don't believe he ever turned 60. I think it was somewhere around there, where like the level of stuff that he was able to put out, and obviously he's had collab albums like one of you had already mentioned Mad Villainy of how great that is, but then you look at his solo works, and what's interesting is how many albums he really has. Because I remember, like, while I've been in college, I've been doing like drives back and forth from like college back to home. And Jack, a lot of times I would ask, like, hey, just send me some albums. And there was almost always an MF Doom album in that message. And I was just like, how many albums does this guy have? And every single one was the same, where it was that same level of quality. And that's what's so crazy. Because then you get stuff like you mentioned earlier, Luke, with food. But then, like, Born Like There, you get like Jay Dilla, Raekwon, like Madlib, like and Ghostface Killer's on that one as well, where it's just like not only the level of features you'd be able to bring in sometimes, but just the level of consistency and how every album hits the same, where it's just like, how is he doing this over and over and over? It's kind of mind-boggling, but he definitely deserves a spot in this list, and I think he's firmly in the top 5 for me.
Yeah. I mean, great description of how just great placement. Yeah, I would agree. And he's going to be a little bit higher for me as well. Like, he's got to be on the list of some of the sort. Just the amount of quality that he's put out. Yeah. And then, yeah, we get into my number 3. This is where I decided to put MF Doom. Like, just echoing what you said, like, classic after classic after classic. He just could not stop. And just the late 90s, early 2000s were his first album, Operation Doomsday, where he kind of adopted this person out. Because he started out in a group called KMD with his brother, and then his brother sadly passed away. They put 2 albums out. And then, well, Mr. Hood was the first one, and then the other one was after the posthumous, after his brother passed away from that wreck. But yeah, that kind of really sent him to a dark place and kind of made him adopt this persona, which was inspired by the Gladiator mask with the Russell Crowe, and then inspired by obviously Doctor Doom in the Marvel comics, and just made him go to like this super descriptive, dark comic book type of vibe, starting out for Operation Doomsday, and then you had Food, where he's kind of like this, all these different comic book samples coming out, and this villainous attitude. Where this is where he started adopting that kind of raspy voice that is just so unique and just one of a kind rapping on every single project, like Vaudeville Villain. Like, he has all these projects where he's like creating other personas to like rap. Like, he didn't have anyone to beef with, so he started beefing with himself. That's how talented this guy was, pretty much. So, and like Mad Villainy, you mentioned, like, probably the best collab album ever. I mean, I don't even know if you could name a better one than that.
Right.
Yeah. And just like 2004, Vaudeville Villain, Mad Villainy, and Food. All those albums came out the same year. Who is doing that? No one. That's insane. And like, even later,
that's what's so confusing. Like, you check the dates and you're like, how did he have the time to make these much? And the fact that they're all good.
And there was a second Vaudeville Villain album called Venomous Villain. There's still solid tracks on that. That's obviously not as good as the other ones, but it's not in streaming or whatever. But then Luke's heard this one, Danger Doom. He did a collab with Danger Mouse. Black Thought also did later on, but with all these Adult Swim references and all these samples from Adult Swim shows, where he kind of got the licensing from them to like promote his stuff, is just really charismatic, really just funny. A lot of the stuff is just funny. All of his bars and stuff, like sell the poop on eBay. I'll just say that. That's one of his bars. That first track, but like, yeah, you had that Danger Doom album, The Mouse and the Mask, and then you had Born Like This. It was just like, he just insanely dark. It's probably his darkest album ever, and like, just so descriptive, so apocalyptic, just insane wordplay. Everything is like every verse, like, you have to really dissect and really go back, forth and back, and that's one artist where the replay value is just insane, because you can just keep going back and it just never gets old. So yeah, at MF Doom at number 3.
Right, and I just touched on him as well, as he was at my number 4. So, Luke, is there anything you'd like to add before we move on?
That's a really good pick. Yeah, like his style, like no one else has like his style is like so unique and like dark. You know, like the like talking like just the way he was. Like, there's not really another style or artist who's kind of like him, you know? Like, there's only one of him. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Well, if you wanted to carry on, Luke, what was your number 3?
So my number 3 was the Roots. And I've been doing a discography dive with them for the past month, and like it's just crazy how consistent they were able to go. Like I was saying earlier, like their first 3 albums, like it's such a good 3-album run with Do You Want More, Ill Death Half-Life, and Things Fall Apart. Then we got Phrenology, which one of my favorites of the Roots. And Tipping Point, like it's not the best, but like there's still a lot of bangers on here. And it's like it's crazy how consistent they were able to go. And yeah, like it's definitely one of my favorite discographies and one of the best in rap. But like it's just crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Right.
Yeah, just classic album after classic album. There's really, yeah, I don't disagree at all.
Yeah. It's also crazy how they were able to like evolve. Like on their debut album, it's like very much like a jazz rap, kind of like a Quest kind of vibe. Like as their projects went, it went more into like core and like more bumpy production, more like it's kind of like it's just crazy how they were able to evolve and still stay so
Right.
consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. Mm-hmm. What about you, Ben?
Now let's go to my number. So I'm going to be doing, this is where A Tribe Called Quest does land for me. I'd assume that you guys are also in a similar position when it comes to them. But at the end of the day, Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders are incredible pieces of art. And then you can really go into their just whole discography as is what it's about. I mean, you can even go to like the anthology. Like there's a lot of great albums from them. And I think it's just the quality of each project and how they're, I don't know if you say they're so like distinct from the other one, but it's just the fact that each one is like so interesting. And I think the way they tackle certain topics, like I really like gosh, what is it bugging out when they're talking about like how like different generations have like different philosophies of music and how it really just evolves and then circles through where it's just like the lyrics really mean something. That's why I really love how poetic that a lot of it is. And Q-Tip's a big part of that. I mean, Q-Tip's been all across the board. Like, I mean, Jack, as you said, he was on the De La Soul project. He was on Nas's very first project. And then he's behind a lot of these great projects as well. So I think having a guy like that being a part of your group definitely gives it several notches. I mean, he hits on every track that he's on pretty much. So that's where they are on my list here.
Yeah, I agree. That's
100%
actually
respect it. It would probably place them a tad bit higher, but that's apples to apples at that point. But like, I'll get into it more when I get to them. But yeah, very solid pick.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something about it?
Oh yeah. I actually had them at my number 2. And
Okay.
yeah, like it's crazy how consistent they are. Like their debut is very strong, and Midnight Marauders is still my favorite album. Like this album is so consistent from them. It's so great. And like I was kind of saying from the Roots, like the Low End Theory had like very much jazz rap vibes, you know? And then they were able to kind of like evolve from that in Midnight Marauders, you know, go into like more hardcore, you know? So yeah, that's a good pick, man.
Yeah. You want to get into that as your number 2? I mean, you kind of did a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
We
where
just
they
go
are
right
at my
there,
number
yeah.
2. Just so consistent, and like Jack is saying, to end on a high note, like we got it from here. Thank you for your service. Like it's so great to see like a group do that, and a very nice tribute to who was it
Five
again
Dog?
that died? Sorry.
Five Dog?
Five Dog, yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah. Very nice tribute to him. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I
100%.
have That's why I have Tribe at number 2.
Okay.
Yeah, solid pick.
Yeah. Yeah. At number 2, I had Kendrick Lamar at number 2.
Okay, well, I did as well.
Okay. So we can both kind of get into it.
Right.
Yeah. Luke, I'm surprised I had him a little low, but
I know.
This is one where it's just insane because I have heard his first mixtape, Overly Dedicated. It's a stepping stone because he had mixtape in the past where he kind of like, because Wayne is a big influence for him,
Right.
but he really knocked it out of the park with that first album. Not his first studio release because people call Section 80 a mixtape. It's not a mixtape; it's an album.
Right.
And it's hard. It's hard for an artist's first project to really knock it out of the park that much.
Mhm.
You never see that. You just never see it. Like whose first album is a classic? It's really hard to do that. And then to just keep one upping himself that much is insane. Like how do you have like a top 10 album of all time, The Mad City, could argue for to be number 1 of all time, and then one up it with Tip of a Butterfly. And you could also argue that for number 1 all time. It's just insane. And just
Right.
the lyricism is always on point, like I mentioned. And yeah, to have an album of basically extras onto the Butterfly be better than most rappers' best projects is just crazy.
Right.
And like,
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why he took like a 5-year break for Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is like, what does he have to prove? Not much. And the fact that he just came back with Mr. Morale after Damn, and then comes back to GNX
Mhm.
after the big W over Drake and that beef, and then the halftime show. Like, I mean, he honestly could be my number 1 spot because he just surpassed. I think MF Doom could be number 2, but I think GNX and the whole beef surpassed him a little bit there. But
Right.
yeah, I just think it's just so consistent every release, and he just constantly reinvents himself. Like no project sounds the same. It's just insane. Yeah.
Right. And the idea of just having Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly back to back is just that's still confusing that like that exists. Like that like somebody created those projects back to back like within only like a couple years. Like it's honestly crazy that that's a real thing. And I think it's just a testament to his whole body of work cuz like GNX a couple years ago or I guess it was just last year, but you know whatever. I think it was actually released in 2024, but like that's pretty solid. There's only like one track that I don't really like care for, but then you go back to like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and even if there's some tracks that you don't necessarily like or some that don't hit the same, like they're all really meaningful, and that's why I really like that era that he was kind of in there, where he had taken that 5-year break, where he had said like there was some writer's block, but also it's just like what does he have left to do? Like after once you release TPAB, you don't have to release music ever again. I think that's just I mean, it's just that good. But the fact that he immediately followed that up with Untitled Unmastered, and there's so many tracks on there that are really incredible. But me, Jack, I believe we were having a conversation about this where, like, despite like Untitled Unmastered, like it being how good it is, you couldn't really pick a track on To Pimp a Butterfly that you think like should have been replaced by it. That's how good all of these tracks were. Like none of the decisions were bad because you couldn't make an incorrect decision. I think if some of those songs were actually subbed out and like some of them were on TPAB and then some of those other ones were on Untitled, we'd probably say the same because it's just really hard to say that about any of these tracks because that's just how good they are. Not only the albums as a whole, but just each individual track, even the extras when they're that good. I think that's just really a testament to that artist's body of work.
Yeah, 100%. You nailed it
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What was your number 2?
Yeah, you really nailed. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Luke went and said his number 2. He said Tribe, right?
Oh, right. I forgot we went right to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, then before we
Yeah.
get to the number 1 selections, we wanted to go over some honorable mentions, some that just missed this list or some that think we will eventually make the list, but they're just not quite there yet, too early in their careers to make this all-time list. Jack, why don't you go first with some honorable mentions?
Yeah, I had a bit. So
Mhm.
I had Public Enemy, insane run from the late '80s, then the early '90s. You had Yo Bum Rush the Show. You had Nation of Millions. You had Fear of a Black Planet. You had Apocalypse. Like so many classic records, one of a kind rapping that you're not going to hear on any other artist album.
Mhm.
And just the messaging in it is insane, and just there's nothing like a Public Enemy album. There really isn't. So I really wanted to put him here, but like couldn't put him over Push because of like God Sort Him Out. That really just pushed it over the edge for me. So yeah, I also had Tupac. I think like four, like I obviously not counting the posthumous stuff where the label released it, like, and just the All Eyes on Me. That's great. Me Against the World. Just all of this stuff is just amazing. Like I think he's absolutely deserves it. I would also say Ice Cube. I would also say that because like you got to count the NWA stuff. Like that 4 album run is amazing. Like you had America's Most Wanted, you had Lethal Injection, you had The Predator, you had Death Certificate. Like such a great discography for sure. Later on in his career, it didn't end up well. Same thing with Public Enemy. They couldn't release classic record after classic record and it ended off in a great way. I also said Nas. I think he deserves to be an honorable mention here. I know. I think both of you said he was in the top 10. Maybe not Luke. I don't know. But I think he deserves to be. Oh, you did. Okay. But like when you have an album like Illmatic, I think you definitely deserve some consideration. And like, yeah, I guess exactly the Kings of These series. I think maybe push him over the edge. I just couldn't put him over any of my 10. But I don't know if that's a bad take, but I just couldn't put him over any of my top 10. It's just tough.
It's certainly a choice. Yeah.
And then I had a couple more. If you want to get to it, I said LP from Run the Jewels.
Mhm.
Run the Jewels 1 through 4 is all fantastic, and just his solo discography is amazing too. Like he had albums like Fantastic Damage, he had Cure for Cancer for Cure, like just everything. I Want You Dead. Like there's so many solid albums from LP, and he also produced The Cold Vein. He was a part of some other groups that released in the 90s, like all this abstract left field hip hop. He's been apart for years and always a great lyricist and just one of a kind rapping. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, who did you guys have for honorable mentions?
For mine, I think me and Luke are going to be kind of similar on some of these where I don't know if I caught you saying Jid, but Jid's one of those guys that it's kind of hard to believe because you're thinking, oh, he's a young guy in the game. Like eventually he'll get up there, but it's crazy to think that he's already, what is he, 34 now? That's pretty
Yeah.
crazy. But all of his albums, or at least the ones that I've heard, have been pretty great. I mean, Never Story, Forever Story, and then the one that he just released last year with God Does Like Ugly. He's had some really great albums and just really great across the board. I mean, he's had like some tremendous features, and I think he's been on quite a run. I think we just kind of need more sample size with that. And then another guy is Tyler the Creator, and I really like him. I really love Chromacopia, probably more than a lot of you. I know a lot of you think like maybe like Call Me If You Get Lost or like Igor is like his best, but like I like have like a very firm like loving of that Chromacopia album. And then a lot of the stuff that he's done since Flower Boy has been really incredible. And some of his earlier stuff wasn't that terrible, but I think that's kind of what holds him back too, is that some of that stuff wasn't great. Where like he has his moments on some of his earlier albums, like Wolf, but as complete projects, they kind of weigh him down in discography. Kind of like on the other side, how Kanye starts to get weighed down by the stuff that he's released towards the end, although I think it's not enough to really knock him down too far. But he was also there. And then another one I was interested to see like where like you guys kind of fell on, especially you, Jack, where would you think about like a duo like Eric B and Rakim?
I think they definitely deserve to be in some sort of consideration.
Mm-hmm.
They'd probably be close to my honorable mentions too. Like the
Right.
influence those two had in those first couple of records are so amazing.
Right.
Top 15, top 20 worthy, I think. So I would have no business putting them in the honorable mentions for sure. They just don't have enough sample size. Like it's just tough. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious what you thought on that. All right, Luke, what were some of yours?
Okay, so I had ODB on there.
Okay.
Like the two albums that we got from him were just incredible. Like Return of the 36 Chambers, just amazing, and my favorite from ODB, N-Word Please, was also just an incredible album. And it really sucks that he was cut short because, like, I think if he wasn't, like, he could have had like a really great discog. So
Yeah.
I put him on there. I also put Dr. Dre, like the work
Okay,
he did
that's a
with
good one.
NWA,
Right.
and then like the two albums that we have from him, like 2001 and The Chronic. Those are both just incredible albums.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's both of those.
Right. I
You could
thought
also
about
say
it as
like
well.
That's right.
The
yeah.
problem is that he just kind of stopped dropping albums like full length where like you have the stuff with NWA, which is great, but then when you're looking at a guy like Ice Cube, who was also an honorable mention, you're like, he had this one, like this 4 album run where it's just like the albums that we got from Dr. Dre were incredible. The Chronic and the Chronic 2, like those are great. I know it's technically 2001, but those were great albums. And like some of the people might say like those are like top 10 of all time, or like maybe like just the Chronic. I know Jax has the Chronic in high regard, but those albums were so great, which is why we might be blinded to say that he's up there because of the popularity and because of how great those projects were. I think it's just an issue of sample size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think with Dr. Dre, I think you also got to count Compton. That's his most recent album. It dropped 2015. But then I think
Yeah,
you should also count
I was just
the
addressing
two.
the gap between. Yeah,
But you could also say the two Eminem albums, Slim Shady and then Marshall Mathers LP.
that,
He was a part of those.
that's
He
fair.
had production and he had features on those. Yeah.
That's fair. Well, then we can also mention Kanye's work on the Blueprint. So Luke shouldn't have knocked him, or what was it, Jack that knocked him low? So maybe you should prop him back up, Jack.
No, you're right. He had production on the Blueprint and Commons B.
I mean, if we're going
That's
to call
true.
out production, Jack, I
No,
mean,
I
you're
know.
kind of going
No,
back on your word.
no, you can count that. I just think the Vulture series is that much of a knock. I think it's pretty bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it bother you that Miles was a feature?
He carried. He carried.
He definitely carried.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Do we want to get into number ones?
Well,
We
I
can.
haven't.
I mean,
I haven't said my last two honorable mentions.
Oh, go get to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Luke.
I also said Tyler, like Ben. Like
Okay.
he's just been on a run recently, but it's just like his early work and obviously Cherry Bomb that kind of knocks it down.
Right.
And then I also had Denzel, like Denzel
Oh, yeah.
Curry, like
That's a good one.
one of the most consistent discographies in hip hop. Like it's just amazing, you know. And he's dropping an album this year, and I think it's gonna be really good. And I'm really excited for it.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we can get into the number one spot right now.
Okay.
All right. Take
Unless you, or do you have any thoughts about it on Jack?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say about Denzel Curry is like literally every single one of his albums is great. Like you couldn't even say it's good. Like it's just insane. Like when you talk about Melt My Eyes, Taboo, The King of the Shibia South, which I think I would probably say is his best album. I know that's probably a hot take, but so many bangers.
It's
Just
a little hot for me.
I know that's a lot. But and then Unlocked with Kenny Beats, that's another solid one. Just like every single one of his albums is just I don't know. He's just a one of a kind artist, and yeah, I can't wait to see what more he has in store. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I'll get to my number one. I put Tribe Called Quest. This
Okay.
was I think yeah. I was kind of like arguing. I think you could argue the top four for number one. You could argue Doom. You could argue Outkast. You could argue Kendrick as well, and you could argue Tribe. I think any one of those top four, I think, is very respectable for me. But
Right.
yeah, like when you talk about like Q-Tip getting influence kind of from De La Soul, starting their debut, People's Instinctive Travels, amazing album. That had Benita Applebun and Can I Kick It, classic songs from the Tribe discography. And then you had Low End Theory. Probably regarded as one of the best. You could argue the best album of all time. Just the lyricism in that is insane, and the production is just quality. Every single thing, like, and then Midnight Marauders, another classic album. Beat Rhymes on Life. Just they could not stop. Even the Love Movement, I think, is very quality. And then they took a long break, and then after Five Dog passed away, like Luke mentioned, they put out "We Got It From Here, Thank You for Your Service," which I think could be argued to be their best album. That's how good it is. Just, and that's one of the best double albums too. If you guys haven't checked it out, but classic. I mean, that has features from Busta Rhymes and Andre 3000, guys that are kind of hard to get features from. Anderson .Paak, Kendrick Lamar. Just very stacked track list, and just classic rapping from Five Dog, Q-Tip, Jerobi, and then Ali Shaheed Muhammad. Just a very, very talented group, and just classic after classic. I think they probably have the most classics out of anyone. I mean, they have to, because they're at my number one spot. But I don't think there's anyone better. I really don't think. And it's just, yeah, this was tough for me, but I think I'm going to go with Tribe at number one. Yeah.
That's a good pick, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I really like that, yeah.
Okay.
They barely did not.
Yeah.
You guys have thoughts on that or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good pick. It's hard to talk about it again because, like, we had already addressed it when we had said them prior. But I mean, it is a good pick. I think it definitely warrants consideration for number one. I also had it pretty high. I had it in the top 5 as well. Where did you have it, Luke? Where did you have it again?
I had it at number two. Number two. So they barely didn't.
We were all in the same ballpark, but Jackson Winter decided to crown it at the top. It's a great group, and I mean, when you got a guy like Q-Tip in there, and you just see everything that he's done all across the board, and I think, just as Jack said, just the amount of classics, and I think that's a lot of the guys on here were just the level of output and the level of delivery on those is just really inspiring. So I think that's a good pick for number one, Jack.
Yeah, 100%. Glad you guys agree. Yeah, Luke, what did you have?
So number one, I had Outkast.
Okay.
Outkast, they just went on a run. Southern Playlistic, while it's one of their weaker albums, they were kind of trying to do what everyone else was doing, but then AT Aliens is where they really found their sound, and then they had Aquemini, which I think is their best. The Art of Storytelling Part 1, I think, is one of the best rap songs of all time. It is up there. The way they're able to tell this story is absolutely incredible. And then Stankonia, the amount of classics that we have on here, Miss Jackson or Gasoline Dreams or So Fresh So Clean, And then we have Speakerbox Love Below, one of the best double albums out there. And while they didn't end on a high note, Idlewild is still a decent project. And you don't really have to count this as an album. This is a soundtrack, So it's not exactly a hip hop album, but every single album has something new to the table, and it's very wonderful to do a discog dive through these. They're all very fun to listen to. So that's where I have Outkast.
Yeah, solid pick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad pick at all. I think a lot of these we've kind of agreed, which the one that I chose my number one, I guess I ended up being in Jack's honorable mentions, kind of surprised me. So I did put Nas, which I thought was going to be more of a popular take, at least in the top 5. But I think it's definitely warranted. So first off, the fact that his debut album being all the way back in 1994 with Illmatic, and that one I think still holds a lot of power today. I certainly believe that it's the best one that he's ever released. But it's not just that. It's the fact that you can go all the way back to 1994 and then 30 years later, and he's still producing music. I mean, the fact that you could start way back then and then win a Grammy in this decade. And then not only the things that he's doing with King's Disease that Luke mentioned when he brought him up, but the fact that he also has the Magic trilogy, I believe there's 3 of them now, where not only like those are like some extras and even those hit. And I think just the fact that the run that he went on, because Kendrick is obviously held in high regard. We all had him pretty high, but then when you count up his albums, like you don't end up getting to 10 or like, it's like what how many does he have? Is it like 6 or something like that?
Yeah.
But like when you look at a guy like Nas, like he had a 5 album run, like just in and of itself over the span of 9 years. And then he's done that again over the past like 18 or so, where like you go Illmatic and then immediately go to It Was Written and then I Am. And then Nostradamus. I know there's a lot of hate for this one. A lot of people think that it's his worst, but I'm a defender of it because if that's his worst, then that's just a testament to how great his discography really is. When you have like songs like Come Get Me, like Project Windows, like I really like that album. And then immediately going into Stillmatic, where he ends up having one of the most triumphant victories in rap, where he ended up defeating Jay-Z with the number 2 track on there in Ether. And maybe there's some disagreements on if that like really defeated him or like whatever, but I think this one isn't as talked about as much as it should be, because I mean that's one of the better diss tracks ever. And then there's a lot of great songs on that. And just the fact that he's continuously doing it throughout all of the decades and he's still relevant. And I mean, he just won Album of the Year this decade, where it's just like the fact that he's continuously having that sort of output and then continually having that love for the game and continually being here, putting up great music. I think that's just a testament to it. Just the fact that he has that type of longevity and the fact that he's still doing it today, that he ends up at number 1 for me.
Okay. Yeah. I respect it.
Yeah.
For sure. Good reasoning for sure. The reason I have Kendrick above him, me and Luke do, is just I know he has less albums, but just the less albums are way better than those. Like I'd rather have less albums that are just 10 or top 25 all time. And with Nas, like he has one album that's probably greatest of all time, but does he have another one that cracks the top 25? Probably not. Like solid quality, I agree. And he definitely
Okay.
that's kind of my reasoning though. So yeah. I just think
Okay. You don't think
yeah,
you don't think he cracks the top 25 with any of the other ones?
like maybe It Was Written would crack the top 50, but
Right.
that'd be the next closest
Okay.
one probably.
Okay.
Yeah. You got thoughts on that, Luke?
Yeah, it's not bad, but like I don't know, it's a little too bloated for me to like put at number 1.
Yeah,
You
you got
know?
misses in there for sure.
Like it, yeah. But like
Life is
like
Good,
Ben was saying,
Nasir.
like
Yeah.
the run that he's been on the past decade, like
Yeah.
it's great with the Magic series and King's Disease and Light Years. Like they're all really good quality. Like it's not a bad pick.
No, I think Ben gave good reasoning. I just think like with these other like with the Roots, for example, like they have maybe just as long of a discog, but their albums are way more quality, and they probably have a couple that could be higher than them. Obviously, Nas has the best overall album, but does he have one that kind of matches up with that? Not necessarily. And no flack to Nas's discography. I think he has one of the best. Obviously, he's one of my honorable mentions. I wanted to put him up here, but like same thing with Pusha T. I think it's so much smaller, but those albums are just so amazing. Like they're just greater. Just that's I don't know. That's kind of my reasoning for it. But when you have like that much of a concise one, it's just there's not much flack on it. Like you couldn't say there's misses in that discography like you could Nas. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing
Yeah.
I wanted to do
Yeah, I
is
get it.
could you guys Ben, could you rank top 5 diss tracks of all time?
Ooh. Did I rank them?
What would you say?
Well, I think Ether's definitely up there. Top 5. Top five's hard to do because Hit 'Em Up is incredible.
Yeah, what would you say?
You probably got to put No Vaseline up there as well.
Yeah.
Probably Ether, No Vaseline.
Ether's number 1 or
Hit
what?
'Em Up. It's kind of number 1 for me.
No, go from 5 to 1.
Go from 5 to 1.
Yeah.
And what's your list?
Okay, I can start first. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd probably put, well, think, because you have to factor in the Kendrick disses for sure. And I think I would go with Story of Adidon, number 5.
Yeah, that kind of changed the way that diss tracks were done.
Yeah.
Because now it's
I
all
think
about
I
like.
think you kind of got to put that one in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then number 4, I would put. I kind of want to put Takeover.
Okay.
Or actually, no. You know what? I'll put Checkmate by Jadakiss.
Is that the one over 50 Cent?
Yeah, I'll put that one. Takeover. It's a
Yep.
really good. It's just a good song. Maybe it's not the best diss because that was really just starting the beef. But yeah, I'll go Story of Adidon, Checkmate by Jadakiss, and then number 3, I'll go Meet the Grams. Is that crazy?
Okay.
I think that's the best diss from the
I
beef
don't know.
with Kendrick and Drake.
Yeah, I mean it probably is.
And then
I don't know.
number 2, I'm gonna go with Hit 'Em Up.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay.
really? I just forgot. No, never mind. I'm gonna scratch Story of Adidon. Scratch Story of Adidon. I'm gonna put Checkmate at number 5. I'm gonna put
Okay.
Meet the Grams at number 4. I'm gonna put Ether at number 2. Hit 'Em Up at number 2.
Mhm.
No. Ether at number 3. Hit 'Em Up at number 2, and then I'm gonna put No Vaseline at number 1.
Okay.
Yeah. That's Luke. What would yours be?
Okay, so mine kind of like went with yours. I had Story of Adidon at number 5.
Okay.
It's like,
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's
yeah,
Yeah.
like that just crazy. And then I put Checkmate as well.
Okay. Yeah.
And then my number 3 was Ether.
Okay.
So yeah, that one's really good.
Mhm.
And then No Vaseline was number 2.
Okay.
And then Hit 'Em Up was number 1.
Wow. So you didn't put a Kendrick diss.
I did not. I don't like Meet the Grams is great. Like I wouldn't put it in my top 5. You know,
But you put Not Like Us in there though.
no, not like us wouldn't even.
Well, what about
I
Euphoria?
feel like this is Euphoria would be maybe, but like I'm putting a few like Eminem diss tracks above some of those. You know,
Really?
like
Okay.
like Bump Heads or maybe even Kill Shot, but Kill Shot's kind of stretching it.
MGK
No.
was dead before that. Okay, Ben, give us your list.
Yeah.
Mine? Well, I think it's hard to formulate it 5-1. So I'm trying to think what I would put on here, but I like personally, Ether's kind of the best to me. So that's number 1. And it's the
I think
fact
that's
that there
respectable.
was such a great diss on the other side and who he took down and like the lyrics that still hold up today and even like some recent developments where it's just like he really won that beef, even if it wasn't like in terms of popularity, which is still like kind of crazy to me that Nas is still kind of like doesn't have that upper hand in popularity over Jay-Z, but just like the lyrics and when it came out where it was just like those two were really like the heads of New York when like Jay-Z was really trying to take over, which is kind of like the point of the song where it's just like the fact that diss on the other side was that great and the fact that it didn't matter, like that's how good this album was despite the competition. That's why it's that high for me. And number 2, I mean,
Yeah.
no Vaseline is probably up there too. I'd probably put Hit 'Em Up first. I'd put Hit 'Em Up number 2. And the reason why I do that is not only like
Okay.
it's like so long, but like it feels real. Like it feels like a threat. Like you don't feel safe when you listen to that song, especially like
Right.
when like because for a while and then he has like the Outlaws on. They do a great job with that feature, but then like he ends up going into this last few minutes where he's literally just talking. Like I mean, like the raps were great and like the rhymes were then at the end, like he's just like he's talking and like he's not like rhyming or formulating it, but it still sounds great and it's just like it legitimately sounds like a threat. And I think that's why it's one of the better ones because you don't feel safe when you listen to that last point. You're like, oh, like I would not want to be one of these guys that he's talking about. And I think that's what's great about a diss track is when you really
Right.
You feel that tension.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Yeah. It's also weird to have a feature
I
on it
know.
as well. It's
That
crazy.
I agree. Because he's like, I
Yeah.
don't even know why I'm on this track.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just
Yeah.
let my homies ride on you. Or like, I think that's part of maybe why people denounce it. And maybe that's part of the reason why it's not my number one, because I think Nas single handedly doing it was a little more impressive. But like the way that he ended up going about it, and all of his verses are great. But then at the end, like when he's just like saying like all this, and he's pulling receipts and stuff, where it's just like, oh, like this is real. You can feel the tension in that. So that's why it has to be number two. And then No Vaseline, I think, is definitely up
Okay.
there as well. I think that's probably number three. Story, I think you have to
Yeah.
put Story added on. Now I wish it was
Yeah.
longer, and I do wish it was longer. But the reason why it has to be up there is that it really just changed the way that these diss tracks really go about. Because a lot of the times, like it's just like they attack your
Right.
character, they attack who you are, they attack like some old music or maybe like something you did or like whatever. But like, to go into like their background, and it's like, oh, you need like a gotcha, you need to find something in their past history, or like just the way that he went about it. Pusha T did. I feel like it warrants a spot here. And then, man, after that, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to really, because there's so many diss tracks, but it's hard to really separate because I feel like we get so many bad diss tracks often, or just kind of like mid ones where it's just like, and yeah.
Like Bigfoot from Nicki Minaj.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I think there's like some weird stuff where like the Eminem and like Machine Gun Kelly beef, where like how huge that was and how many views that got, but like none of those diss tracks are really that great in my opinion. Like they're fine, but like they're not really like
And the competition isn't there.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
That's
almost
true.
like consider like, I mean, as you said, maybe it is Takeover at 5, but yeah, that's how my list kind of folds out there.
Did you say 4?
Sorry, Adidon was 4.
All right. So you didn't put a Kendrick one either. Wow.
No, I don't think so. Maybe with
Yeah.
more time. I think it's too soon. And then also, it's hard to put a song like Meet the Grams when like one of the verses we still really don't know how to feel about it. It kind of messes up the legacy for me.
Right. But I
really,
think that is the Meet the Grams is the nastiest. I think it's the deadliest, probably.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most scathing, I think, of any diss track, probably.
Mhm.
Because he's literally
Yeah.
talking to his son, he's talking to his father, he's talking to his mom. Like, it's just so bad. It's crazy. That's kind of why I had to put it on there. But I would still say No Vaseline number one, just because when you're looking at these, like, you got to think about how like the aftermath went. Like Jay-Z kind of went back to normal after that. Like, and like Jay-Z didn't have a bad diss track in like kind of response where he kind of rapped over "Get Yourself a Gun" with the track "Super Ugly." So and people don't really talk about like he had an actual response with Ammunition at Nas, but at that point people were already like, this is over because Ether was such a good track,
Right, yeah.
obviously. But
Yeah.
you got to kind of look at the aftermath. Like he killed Eazy-E, he killed Jerry, he killed everyone. MC Ren, he killed everyone at NWA. Like there was no coming back from that. Like it's just I don't know. And I just think, yeah, just the aftermath of that, like, and there was competition there, like, and just the story of it, I just love. So, yeah. But I think Hit 'em Up's a good number one, too. I agree.
I put Hit 'em Up at number one just because,
Yeah.
like, it was kind of like given the circumstances, like, Tupac, like, really thought, like, this man just tried to kill me. And I feel like a lot of other rappers, like, they would have just stayed quiet, you know?
Right.
But, like, he decided to diss him. And that probably potentially is the reason why he lost his life, you know? Like, it's
Right.
just like given the circumstances and just say, no, you know what? I'm gonna diss you. I hate you, you know?
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
also like what Ben was saying, like the last verse, he's not even rapping, he's just talking and just saying F you know? It's just great.
Yeah. Honestly. And we didn't kind of mention Checkmate, but like that was kind of the period where 50 Cent was kind of going at every rapper just so he could get like popular. And he was just trying to be the best. You know, he's like, I'm just going to go at everyone. And Jadakiss is like, whoa, this is not how this works. Stay in your lane. and he just like eviscerated him. like
I
oh my
love
gosh.
yeah.
You didn't get shot again. What's your second album about? You'll never be the king of New York.
Yeah.
New York. You live in Connecticut. Like, shut up.
Etiquette, yeah. I love the attitude of the diss track. It's just like
Yeah.
just shut up. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna dish you real quick and then I'm done with you.
Yeah,
Because like
like,
the song's only like 2 minutes long.
Yeah, like this opening line is like, I don't want to sound mad. I'm sound marvelous. Like, it's just, oh my gosh, just those nasty lines.
Yeah.
Like at the end of that Story of Adidon track, like where he's like, and you want to say you're upset. It's just like, oh my gosh, just yeah. That's a good topic though. I'm glad we ranked those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. Well, good show, Ben.
Yep. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Well, Ben, thank you for having us on again.
All right. Thanks, Luke. Do you have any closing thoughts about the list, Luke?
No.
You don't have anything?
Oh, like
Just any closing thoughts?
like I think Nas is a little too high. Like I don't think he's number one. You know, like I feel like that's a little too high.
I respect it though.
I can see why, but like I just don't think he's that high. You know.
Yeah, a lot of ours
That's-
were like similar artists. Like we all had Tribe, I think. We all had Doom. We all had Kendrick. But just like different placements, and Outkast as well. Yeah, so I think we all like pretty much had the same idea of how we wanted these lists to go, but we just kind of ordered them differently. So I respect all of our lists. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys for joining the show once again. It's been a minute,
Yeah.
but we were able to put one together. So I appreciate you guys for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us.
Of course.
Mhm.
And reference to the audience, if you guys want to see any more music content, we can make some more. And we probably should have some lists coming. We've been talking about doing the best songs of the past decade, which we should get on soon. So hopefully that ends up coming. But if you want to check out more episodes of The Ben Buzz or Hawkeye State of Mind or any types of music episode or anything like that, as always, on the channel, you can subscribe. It's free. I couldn't charge anything if I wanted to. I'm actually not making money currently. So you can go ahead and subscribe if you'd like, or you can like or comment or anything like that. We're always here on the Ben Buzz with Benny King. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And as always, we'll here and we'll be making more music content if it's demanded, but we'll probably make it anyway. So thanks for tuning in. This is the Ben Buzz. I'm Benny King. As always, thanks for tuning in.